Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr.
Who is Dr. Destroyo?
Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? I am Dr. Destroyo. From the Death by Media Man podcast show, it's Dr. Destroyo. The story of the world's first true supervillain. We're telling Dr. Destroyo in sequence every 2 weeks. So if you haven't listened to the first episodes, go back and start there. Then, this will all make a lot more sense. Chapter 57. So, being rich and notorious, that didn't suck. Escaping from my public murder scene had been even easier than I'd expected it to be. I just ran away. Once I was a couple of blocks down the street, I stripped off my suit, revealing the outfit I'd worn underneath it. Nobody tried to follow me, as they were all too shocked or scared or whatever. After pulling off my alter ego, I'd crammed the suit into a plastic bag. The gray suit jacket in the pants, the dress shirt, and the tie. And I'd walked home in a pair of khaki shorts and a plain white t-shirt. Once the outfit change was complete, nobody suspected a thing. Nobody gave me a second glance. Why would they? I carried the mask in my hand, balled up in one fist like a well-used handkerchief. I walked all the way home from downtown. I avoided public transit just because these days the buses and bus stops are all covered in video cameras, and I wanted to avoid showing up on any footage anywhere too close to the art gallery. I just kept moving. I kept my head down. I didn't look at anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. And then, 50 minutes later, I was showing up at my own front door. And then I was at home, with a loaded gun, and over $1 million in cash. And the mask. Once the door was locked, I stripped naked and pulled the mask back on. I was starting to feel like I wasn't really myself, until the mask was there. Then my true face, my actual inner self, was revealed. I was what I knew I should be. Door locked, mask on. I took the bullets out of the gun and stuck both the gun and the bullets in the miscellaneous drawer in the kitchen. Everybody's got a miscellaneous drawer in the kitchen. It's the drawer that's full of rubber bands and takeout menus, old ketchup packets, probably the rental agreement for the apartment, maybe some thumbtacks and a few paper clips, maybe a murder weapon and a bunch of bullets. Kipple, Philip K. Dick called it. I put the gun away, and then I just sort of forgot about it. It. The device. The object. It had been the Solutions gun, Wayne Boudreau's gun, and maybe it still was. Maybe my theft and his death didn't actually make it mine. Maybe it would always be his gun, even abandoned in a drawer in my apartment. Killed with his own gun. The irony was palpable, but not impressively so. People who own guns get shot. It happens all the time. Of course, people getting shot by their own guns in public while dressed up in a multi-million-dollar crime-fighting costume. That happened slightly less, to my knowledge. And now I was home and safe. I looked at my hands, which had no blood on them. No literal blood. A lot of the other kind. Yeah, my hands were covered in metaphorical blood. But otherwise, I was pretty much perfectly clean. A little sweaty maybe, but perfectly clean. Chapter 58. Okay, so just wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. For just a moment. Like, what the hell, eh? Throwing homeless people off the sides of buildings to fake my own death, that's one thing. But shooting some mentally incompetent nerd in the face? What the hell happened to me? I sat out on the arm of the couch, looking into Tom's room, remembering how the gun felt, kicking loose in my hand. At the time, it had felt like I had all the time in the world to aim. I'd been standing about 5 feet away from him, point-blank range, they call that. He'd been looking at me, past the tip of the barrel of the gun, as it had happened. Had he seen the bullet? Had he realized what was happening as it happened to him? Last-second questions rattled around inside my head. Was there anything I should have asked him before I pulled the trigger? Was there anything more I needed from him? Because he was gone now. He was long gone and all gone. That's what death is, right? You leave the room entirely. No coming back. Somehow, though, I was feeling pretty good. I knew I should have been panicking, but I didn't feel like going through the motions just to placate my brain's need for normative emotional responses. Besides, for all those reasons I had to feel bad, to feel fucked up and confused and horrified by my actions, I had a couple of reasons to be feeling good. And they were pretty damn good reasons. One reason was the mask, but more on that later. The other reason was the money. God damn it, I didn't expect myself to be that sort of a person, but when I heard that Wayne had wasted over $2 million on his stupid suit, money that his dead parents had left him, I'd gotten kinda irritated. Like, not actually angry, but more like philosophically pissed off. It had been like something that had grown with me over time, my frustration with the advantages Wayne had been given and the limited vision he'd had with which to waste those advantages upon. And then, when he'd come into my home with that bag of money, the money I was effectively threatening and blackmailing out of him, it was like the trap had sprung shut. My eyes saw all that money, and the cage door clicked closed. Wayne, that spoiled fucking coward, was as good as dead. Because I'd seen the money, and I wanted that money, and the only thing standing between me and the money was him. Wayne Boudreau was as good as dead the moment he found himself standing between me and something I desired. You don't get between a mother bear and her cubs, and you don't get between Dr. Destroyo and what he wants. Yeah, the money was nice. The money and that one other thing. And that other thing was the mask. That fucking mask. It was making everything easier. It was making life easier. It was making death easier. I just had to put it on, and then everything went away. Then everything came up in super high fidelity and full surround sound. It wasn't a split personality. It was just me, but all of me. All of my personalities, my wants and desires, my strengths. They all merged into one superior being and started working at peak efficiency. Imagine super me, intensified me. Me being multiplied by a factor of myself. It was like doing drugs. All the drugs, all at once. It was like I could feel my thoughts getting too big for my head. It was a supraliminal influence. Dr. Destroyo blotted out my senses and replaced my reality with something that could be created and controlled by my mind alone. I was a vampire, moving through the night, snapping necks and devouring my prey. I was a biblical demon bringing heartache and ruin. I was a rogue virus spreading disease. I was the boogeyman, the serial killer from down the street, the secret dark heart of the modern world. I was Dr. Destroyo, and I was a rich motherfucker with blood on my hands. Like so many others. So fuck 'em, right? That's what this world is for, to give the strong a nice comfy place to eat the weak. If butchers didn't have to go to jail for serving up cattle, then why should I? Especially with assholes like Wayne Boudreau and those homeless nobodies and Mr. Scorpio. They'd been practically dying for the chance to jump on my metaphorical meat hook. So fuck 'em. You know who's got a master plan and the big bag of unmarked bills? Supervillains feel no remorse, no guilt. If anything, they feel entirely satisfied because they know they are doing the divine will of the universe. I am exactly where I should be, and I am doing exactly what I should be doing. I am the triumph of the adversary, the saint of the perfect crime. Right up until the mask comes off anyway. That part just kept getting harder and harder. When I took the mask off, everything slipped back in again. It was like losing your wings 1,000 feet up in the clouds. Like coming down from a high. And there was a high. I was high when the mask was on my face, when I was dripping with blood and dangerous ideas. Even the act of taking lives was creating these waves of euphoria that rolled through me like the great wave off Kanagawa. Being a supervillain was a trip. It was tripping me out. It was a disorienting feeling that made it seem like everything in the world was singing at you, all at once. Every molecule, every atom was humming with perfection. When the mask went on, my hands stopped shaking and my mouth went deliciously dry. Killing was an intense experience. I could see why normal people didn't discuss it much in their normal little worlds. It was like turning off a light switch, except it made you a god as you did it. You turned off the light in somebody's eyes. What did it take to make somebody? At least 2 humans and unknown eras of genetic development. All just to create a single individual being. And you could snuff them out like nothing. What did it take for me to do what I did? There was a whole team of unknown individuals out in the world helping me by creating a culture of ideas. Media to manipulate, a company to manufacture guns and bullets, a city with a crowd to watch, and one man, a singular soul to rule above them all, someone to bring them darkness and fear. I wished I had a real ray gun. I wished I could call down the lightning from the clouds to slay my enemies. My enemies were the ignorant cattle of the field. They were the faceless, nameless herd, wandering lost between dusk and dawn, while I was the fire of wrath and the clash of blades. With a mask on. And as long as the mask was on, I could deal. Hell, I could more than deal. I could thrive. It felt fucking great. Everything felt perfect. I felt like perfection unfolding within myself. And when the mask came off, I was allowed to again become who I'd been before. The mask came off and I got to puke and cry. I nearly shit my pants. I almost had a nervous breakdown. I sort of lost my mind. Like when I went into the bathroom to wash my face, and I tried to look at myself in the mirror above the sink. The thing in the mirror was a cold, flat, lifeless thing. It had dead eyes and nothing to live for, and if I looked hard, I could see right through it. If I tried, I could just will my dead flesh into invisibility, into the intangibility that would allow beams of light to flicker straight through my form. I could be a cloud of empty atoms, becoming smoke. I could be nothing at all. I could feel nothing at all. Wouldn't that be nice? I stared through myself until I disappeared from the mirror, and then I pulled the mask back on. And when the mask went on, something much greater re-emerged from within me. Something amazing started radiating out of my eyes, like my mind was full of brilliance and sunshine. Lightning in a bottle, a magic sword held in an invisible hand. I pulled the mask back on. I was bulletproof, immortal, a length of cold steel floating through the clouds. I was a savage little streak of bliss, with tomorrow hanging from between my teeth by its broken little neck. Dr. Destroyo is written and produced by Hank Pattison for the Death by Media Man podcast channel. You can subscribe to the Death by Media Man podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a like or a comment and tell a friend. And if you'd like to support the Death by Media Man channel with your money, there's a link to our Patreon in the description of this program. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next installment of Dr. Destroyo.